Hey there, everybody. Welcome into Monday morning, April 26th. It's your buddy Choppadong. I'm here to talk baseball, DFS style. Let's dive in and talk about the research station again and just give you an early look of a 9-game slate today. Just an idea. Where might we go? Where might we target? What are we going to look at when the rest of the data starts coming in for today? When we start getting ownership projections, when we start getting our domination station loaded, when we start getting to a point lineups confirming and to a place where we can actually start building lineups a little bit more seriously. Until then, it's all preliminary research, so we don't need to spend a ton of time on it. That's what we do at DFSArmy.com. We use these tools and show you how to use them effectively and become a better player. Let's not waste time. Let's be efficient with our time, and let's bounce around and cover multiple sports or multiple slates or whatever it is that we want to do. Spread that bankroll out, mitigate some risk, and go take down some money. Much like our buddy Gutsman did here yesterday. If I show you, in this little channel here, he put up a pretty darn good lineup. And in fact, I warped up way too far ahead. I love it when stuff skips around. Actually, I want to cover this here too in a second, and then we'll get to the baseball. But the main thing is the main thing. Gutsman has been studying and doing an awful lot of work inside DFS Army for a couple of months, and finally hit the big one. 10K. $1,000 in entry fees, 10K back out. Biggest win, never won more than $83 in his career, and hits for 10K. Why? Study, dedication, patience, coachability, all of the plus factors that make members better people. Asking around everybody and anybody that will talk to him about how to get better and what to do. And it paid off in less than 6 months probably, where this guy finally hit a big score of his own. I do want to scroll up, so really and truly congratulations. Couldn't happen to a better guy. Couldn't happen to a more fun member to talk to and interact with. But I do want to cover this. I got asked about this little graphic as well. This is just showing you what percent it takes to win. These contests, 50-50s, double ups, nickels, triple up, whatever on FanDuel, the win multiplier if you take first place, and then what kind of a payout, what kind of percentage lineup it takes to earn that kind of a payout. Meaning, if I take there's so many single entries and 3 maxes out there, this stuff here to me is just too general. It doesn't make it's not specific to a specific contest. It's just, I don't know, and it can be wrong. If I look at a 49-man single entry, it's going to pay out way differently than a 5,000-man single entry GPP. So I don't know what tournament this was looking at, so it doesn't do me a lot of help. What I can say, and the nickels, is oftentimes it varies in size, so this win multiplier can be even bigger than 6,000x. But generally, it takes a top 30% lineup to win money out of those MME nickels. To win, depending on the size of the tournament, it can take all the way down to 7,000ths of 1%. So I tell people all the time, build for the top 1%, but in a lot of cases, you need to build for way better than that if you're going to win it. If you get good at building a top 1% lineup, you start pulling down some decent money. You get 4x out of the nickels, which isn't much, okay? But if you can get just inside that, you're starting to win 10x in some of these other competitions. You know, you're starting to win the 100-man leagues, which is what I like to do. The 100-man leagues pay you 25 times on the dollar, so $50 on a $2 bet. I like those. You're not going to find a 1% lineup that pays any better anywhere else in the industry, and that is an achievable goal. You can build top 1% lineups more often than 1% of the time, and that lends to profitability. Okay? That's the whole goal, is let's be profitable. And then if I can do that and hold my own and tread water, then I can wait for the night when I produce a top fifth of 1% lineup and take down the nickel and win that 7,000x of my money. Okay, so that's really all this graphic is showing me. It's not showing me where I should put my money. It's not showing me, it's showing me the strength of lineup I need to get good at building if I want to return these numbers out of contests. So if I come down here, the 10x multiplier or whatever, a top 8.5% lineup will win it. Why not a top 10% lineup? Well, because there's rake involved. There's juice. 1.5% at least is going to the house. So that's where you got to get even better. So producing a 1% lineup 1% of the time, yes, you need to do it a little bit more often than that, probably like 0.9%, something like 1.1% of the time, something like that to beat the rake, because you're going to pay the rake along the way. That's all these contests are doing. This kind of a graphic, I've already done the math. It doesn't do a lot for me, pointing stuff out for me, because I can simply take a contest that has 100 people in it, divide 2 into 100 people and say I finished second place, I built a top 2% lineup. So then I can come down here, I guess, and look for where a top 2% would have won 10x in all of these contests. So what did I win? Well, over on FanDuel on the 100-man league, I would have won $15. That's 15x. So that's better pay than any of these. Does it mean that I should have been in these in that one instead of these? No. It means that in these, the larger contests, I still had more room for upside, whereas in the 100-man league, I would have capped out at the win. So you have to determine if you want to keep going past that 1% barrier and keep unlocking more and more money, or if you want to take the money off the table and say, that's good with me. I can settle for that. If you're a settler, you will love 50-50s, double ups, 3-man, 10-man leagues, things like that, even 100-man leagues. If you're a go for broke kind of guy, you'll love the MME nickels and quarters and dollars and milli makers in contests like that because they reward very, 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 very top end lineups. They're just hard to produce. They're once in a lifetime scores that you're just not going to produce very often. So really and truly, most people benefit from playing something a little bit in the middle, which gets us into the latter talk of why we layer those contests. Maybe we play a double up, a 3-man, a 10-man, a 100-man, and a single entry competition. And I put $5 on $1 on each lineup. And now if I end up with a double up, I get $2 back for that, and at least I won something. And if I win the 100-man, I get $25 on that, and I won the double up, and I probably won the 3-man, and I probably won the 10-man, and I start unlocking an avalanche of money. And that is kind of a fun way to play, but you have to start layering in maybe where you're going to put more weight. Maybe I want to put 10 or $20 on it tonight, and I want to put $5 in that double up so that I win $10 back. And if I win $10 back, because I'm going to win the double up more often than a 100-man league, if I win $10 back, then maybe that extra $5 in profit pays for 5 other ladders that I ran for $1 each. That's where we talk about the specifics and we target game plans for our members at DFS Army. Is let's structure your contests so that they're getting what you want to do accomplished and preserving your bankroll with some upside to win and return big money, but also with some downside risk avoidance or some hedging, if you will, that will pay back when you fall a little bit short of your goal. Okay? It's never can't miss. Nothing's ever can't miss. But that's going to increase your odds. It's going to bring back more money than you're going to spend. And that's going to keep you around long enough to hit a lineup like I showed you with Gutsman and his $10,000 winner. It all works together. And we can show you how to do that at dfsarmy.com. Back into the baseball talk. If we were looking at pitchers today, of course, the first thing I'm going to do is go here by the teams, and I'm going to sort off the teams that are not on the slate and get rid of them. And then I'm coming over here to K-score. It's really about the only metric I look at. I know that we should not use anything as a stand-alone metric, but Corbin Burns is on the top. That shouldn't shock anybody. Ohtani, Miley, Rogers are up there. You might be surprised by some of these other guys here, like a Minaya or somebody like that. But you can come over here. And so any one of these guys, from about here, about Garcia, Minaya, see like Garcia and Rich Hill. Rich Hill's not what he used to be. Garcia is probably on a little bit shorter 6 games pitched. That's where I'm going to use other metrics other than the K-score. I'm going to look at how many innings he pitches per start, how many games he has pitched, and see, am I on a short sample where this guy's just got out of the gate really hot, or am I on a longer, steadier sample I can trust? I don't want a guy whose K-score is, 5,000, but he's only throwing 3 innings a year. I need to use both in conjunction with each other, always, always, always. When I do find those guys that have bigger starts, see like Ohtani only's got 4 starts. We know what he is a little bit at this point. He's pretty good. He's got a lot of upside, but he's a risk. But 16, 14, 11 games, those guys are fine. And I want to look at these guys and determine which of these guys is maybe the best, which is the safest. The safest is probably Corbin Burns, but these other guys are a lot cheaper. Am I willing to take the risk on a slightly lower K-score to hope to catch an outlier performance for the money and run a guy out there at 94 or 8,400 bucks and save, $1,000 or $2,000? Some cases I might be. Does it buy me better bats? What does it do for me? Does it get me into Coors Field? What does it do for me? There are ways where the risk might outweigh or the reward might outweigh the risk, and we might take. But in a cash game where I only need to place in the top half of 100 people, only beat 50 people, I don't have to beat 95 of these people. I only have to beat 50 of them. Then it's not worth the risk, especially when the payout is only $2 for $1. I put in $1. Whether I place 5th or place 48th, I'm only going to get $2. There's no increased reward for my risk. So why take any risk? Corbin Burns is the man. He's got the highest floor. He's the best pitcher on the slate by quite a wide margin. That's who I'm going to play. Is he going to win the slate every night? Probably not. But is he going to be right up there with everybody almost every time? Yes. I want that. I don't need his ceiling. I want his average game to not be a dud, to be very consistent. And that's going to help me build a lineup that's going to get a little bit further than middle of the pack. And that's what's going to maximize the ability in that particular contest in a cash game, like a 50-50, a head-to-head, a double-up, whatever. As I start playing 10-mans, 20-mans, 100-mans, and tournaments, I start taking a little bit more risk, a little bit more risk, a little bit more risk, because the payout is bigger. The reward is better for the money that I put in. $1 turns into $50. Great. That's worth taking some risk for. So I might gamble with a Rogers or a Miley or somebody there. Okay, but Burns for cash, these other guys for tournaments. Simple, easy peasy. If I go to the hitters, I'm looking down here now at something like W score, which is the exact opposite of K score. Instead of strikeouts, we're looking at who hits for a high WOBA. And it looks like, these guys here are not involved, so we could uncheck them just to get down, or we can just start about right here. Okay, so the highest K score or W score, Sheldon Neal. Again, I don't know the name. It's a small sample. I can guarantee it. 4 plate appearances. That is irrelevant. I don't care about that guy. I'm not going to look at that guy and get excited about it because he only had 4 at-bats. But Nate Lau, Joey Gallo, Solak, Texas is going to be high on the list. Texas is facing either a short, no sample size pitcher, or they're facing a bad pitcher. Okay, but Texas is going to be up there a lot. It looks like New York Yankees are going to be up there a lot. They're in good spots. So if I take out Texas, holding the control key, clicking the button, holding the control key, clicking the button if I could talk, and then look at who pops up next, get rid of Baltimore, and it's, well, Yankees still, right? Some Colorado, whatever. I'm looking for who's more frequently involved. And I click off the next best team and then see. So these might, there's some Colorado, some LA. These might be my third stack. So I'm automatically looking for Texas, Yankees, and maybe some mixers of LA and Tampa and Colorado and whatever. These are guys that are in good spots. Now I want to find out, are they hot? So I come over to the Trends tab, and this is where I start filtering off the WOBA trends. Come down here, I messed that one up. I come down here to a number filter greater than, I don't know, 350, right? Sorry for if you're hearing the banging on the keys. It is what it is. And greater than 200 for ISO. So if you're hitting better in a 350 WOBA and better in a 200 ISO, you qualify on this list. If you miss in either category, you're not on this list. These are the guys that are on this list. And we need to raise the standards of WOBA here a little bit. So let's go up to 380. Get up closer to 400. And now we've shortened that list up. Now we're only sitting at 20, 25 names or so. I would go into the Domination Station Optimizer and I would put a 15% Adore boost on all these guys. They're swinging a bat well. Good matchup, bad matchup, doesn't matter to me. That's how you win tournaments, is a bad matchup gets into a bullpen and hits a home run off of that, and everybody was afraid of the starting pitcher, so they didn't roster him. I don't care. If I'm going to build 100 lineups tonight, I don't care. If I'm building one lineup tonight, I need to be a lot more judicious, and I need to go through here. And do I need to take a stack, or do I need to not take a stack, or do I need to take a pair of players? Which pair in that offense? I love Texas tonight. Do I want Gallo and Solak, or do I want Solak and Lau? Who do I want, and where am I going to stop, and how much is too much? That's all the stuff that we get to fine-tune and get real particular about inside DFS Army throughout the day. But right now, you've seen good pitchers, you've seen bats in good spots, and you've seen who the hot hitters are in the trends. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And we talked a whole lot about maybe what you should look for in contest selection, and also congratulated a 10,000 winner in Gutsman, all in 15 minutes. It doesn't take that long when you use an overview approach in this game. If you want the specifics, though, you got to come inside and be a VIP, be a DFS Army member, and put your Army helmet up on top of the leaderboards. Put your name on the wall of wins, and get yourself a swag bag. That's what I'll help you do. Come inside, take a peek at me, chop it on, code CHOP, if I could spell. CHOP, 10% off, DFSArmy.com. Come and talk to us about baseball, basketball, hockey, golf, whatever sport you want to play. We'll make you a better player. Peace out, homies.